Hello everybody,
and welcome to One
plus one is one.
Welcome to our new episode where we will talk about the dark side of New York City. And this is something nobody talks about, I think. New York City is a dream city, is a place where you can achieve your dreams and everything, we know that, but there is another side. There is a dark side and we live there, so we know what we're talking about. And there's some crazy things happening there.
Yes, of course. I want to say it's still my favorite city in the world
Of
and the
course.
city I want to spend my whole life in, and we will.
Definitely.
But you just need to know that there's something bad too. You can't.
Yes.
Of course, it's okay to romanticize things and everything, we do as well. It's okay, it's totally fine. But as every other big city, and especially New York, it's a crazy world.
Not everything can be perfect in
No.
such a big city with
Of course.
so many people and so much money. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of money.
Exactly. So let's start directly with the topic drugs.
Yeah.
This is something we know in big cities. This is a thing like this nightlife and everything. But what we experience, it's like drugs are completely normal there. There's got so normalized in society there. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, definitely. Coming from a small town here, I never knew, of course I knew in theory that
Yeah.
this whole drug problematic is something very real, but I never came
Never.
close to anything like that.
Exactly, yeah.
So I never knew. I had no idea
Yeah.
until we knew.
Until we knew. Yeah, no. And especially like here in Germany, it's not that usual. Of course, in big cities, drugs is a problem everywhere. But in New York, this is just next level. And especially because, I don't know, we are so young. And that was like kind of scary. I don't know how to say it in other words, right? I mean, we obviously knew like the limits, and we knew, okay, we cannot go there or we cannot do this and this, but still it's like drugs. This is like a dark side. This is something people that had something to do with that, I don't know, they're like in a dangerous environment, so you feel like you're in a dangerous environment too. So it's always, you always have to watch out, and and also when we were like 2 weeks after we
I
arrived,
think not even 2 weeks,
not
like
even 2 weeks,
a little over a week, we
Yeah.
learned from the beginning.
thank God,
Yeah.
we were like in a bar and we were like talking to some random guys, and then they asked us, oh, what do you do for fun, what are your hobbies and stuff, and I was like, oh, well, we like to go for a walk, blah blah blah. Oh, we like to party. We like to party too. We like to party a lot. Nightlife
you said,
and everything.
I remember, I listened to you. You said, yeah, we like to party.
Yeah.
We like to party a lot. And
Normal.
they looked
Clubbing.
at you
Yeah.
like you were, I don't know.
They looked at me completely different.
They were like, you don't mean, they were like, but I don't think that you like to party.
Exactly. Their faces completely changed when they said that, and I was like, what's happening? I'm young. I like to party. Well, apparently partying in New York, or I don't even know.
Maybe US general?
US
I
general.
don't know. We've been to New York.
Means to take snow, if you know what I mean. Snow. That kind of snow. Exactly that kind of snow. And they were like, oh, okay. And then like, I don't know, 15 minutes later, they're like, asked me again, but with partying, what do you mean with partying? And I was like, oh, yeah, going to clubs, like, music,
And then they
nightlife.
explained.
And then they explained.
Thank God they were like, because I think they realized that we don't know what it means.
Exactly. They looked at us and they were, okay,
Okay,
these
but
girls
you two, you don't like to
don't
party.
so...
Yeah, and it's crazy because otherwise I would have lived there my whole life until...
Hey, you want to party? Who wants to party, everybody? That would be us. Would have been us.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank God, no.
Yeah, of course. We learned, and this is something really
Yeah.
helpful from the beginning, that you just know, if someone likes you want to party, they... you say
You
no.
say no. Just so you know, you say no. Yeah, but that's something, if you go to the US, you should know that. Partying doesn't mean...
Partying.
Exactly. So, yeah, but that was kind of shocking. That was okay. Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, and now we had a lot of like situations where we like were in not in touch with
No.
not in touch with snow, but where things happen like right next to us.
But right next
But
to us.
like
And
exactly,
it's
it is crazy
because
because how we said we never
no.
we don't know this.
No, we
thing.
I never came close to anything like that before, and thank
Never
God
will,
we never want to come close to that.
Exactly,
Of
yes.
course, we were in environments that brought us in such positions and situations,
Exactly.
but we don't do stuff like that, and I'm like terrified of it.
Yeah, me too.
Thank God,
Thank
though.
God. Yeah, no,
'cause-
exactly. But there are like some stories
Yes,
that we're going
let's
to
just
tell you.
Begin.
Okay, the first one that was also like at the beginning, we were like in a bar and we met two random guys. They were super nice. The one speaks Spanish. We got along very well. And then you,
No.
how was it?
I remember he might even listen to this podcast right now. No, I don't think. He sees my it doesn't matter.
Well,
but
anyways.
I remember
Without names.
I remember we were at this table, and I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify. If it's on Spotify, you can't see me now, but make sure to watch on YouTube also. Because he was at this table. He was sitting. We were all talking, the four of us.
Yeah. They guys, they were in front of us.
Exactly.
The
And
table.
I see like
I
something.
was like, he's sneezing. Oh my God, he's sick. Are you?
Achoo!
Achoo! Bless you. Yeah,
Bless
I
you.
noticed that,
And
but
I saw that, and I think I didn't say anything at the beginning. I was just, okay, weird. I think 20 minutes later, I see this again. And then I looked at he was in front of me.
literally, we
In
were
front of me.
talking with each other.
While talking, he was like... and then I was like, Charlotte, did you... I tried to communicate to you. I was like, do you see what I'm seeing? Because I didn't know if this is how it looked like, but I think I know what this is. I think I know how this is. And then he talked so much more. He was so shy at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he talked more and more. I was like, okay, I know what you did.
He got like very social.
Yeah, very social.
Yeah. And I heard this, shh, shh, shh. I don't even know. And I was like, okay, I don't know, maybe, No, he was, and then, and then we went out because we wanted to go to another place. We were walking down the street. Suddenly, a little jar, can you even call it a jar? A mini, how do you say? I don't know. It was a mini jar, like literally 3 centimeters. Or maybe 2.
It
doesn't
really
matter.
small.
Really small. And it just fall out of his pocket. This little thing with like white snow fall out of his pocket. And he was walking like in front of us and I was like, oh, you lost something.
But you did know it. I knew. No, I knew from the second it dropped. I was like, I think you want to speak.
I didn't know. I was like, oi, what is this? You lost something. And then I was like,
didn't you pick it up?
yeah. I was like, oh, this is yours. And I was like, oh, this looks really weird. Like, yeah, and then we definitely knew, and we were like, oh, and then he was like, oh, yeah, sorry, blah, 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 I hope you don't judge me, and I was like, oh, no, I don't judge you, and then we should go.
And then we went, of course.
And then we
but
left.
It was at this moment where I was,
Yeah.
So I knew. So I saw it right.
Yeah, and then everything made, like, sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the sneezing and, I don't know, not sneezing.
No.
You know.
Not sneezing.
Not
This was not sneezing. No, and yeah, this was... I think our first interaction,
Yeah.
I think 2 days later when we were at the club, you saw another guy just on the table taking some stuff.
Yeah, we were like in a table and then the random guy came with like a little, not scoop, but like, yeah, I don't know. And he was like offering everybody. And I was like, Ilinka, and we have to leave.
Again,
Once
again, we have to leave.
But you went to the restroom.
Exactly. I went to the restroom. I remember it was dark in there. I don't know. When I got back, there was this guy who was like, oh, you're not this guy, this horrible old man. I don't know, not this guy.
Yeah.
No. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're so, I don't know, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't alone. I just went to the restroom alone. Why did we even go to the...
I don't know.
No, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
And he was like, yeah, do you want something? I was like, I don't want anything. What do you mean? I'm like, let me go. I'm looking for my friend. I was like, my friend is waiting there. And he's like, yeah, he offered like different things.
Different things. What do you want? I have the whole...
I was like, no, I think you misunderstood me.
Excuse me? What do you think?
And then didn't you go to the bathroom and the same guy said
but
something
he
to
was
you?
like so fucked up.
Yeah, well, this is not... Yeah, well, we just...
Anyways, yeah. But it's crazy because you can find this everywhere. You can ask... Every second person will, like, connect you to this thing.
Yes. This other time, I remember we were also with someone we just met, a group of people. Yeah, you never know. If you just meet people you don't know. And then it's like, oh, Charlotte, we have to leave.
Like, oh, oops, bye.
And we were there and I like this group.
It was, they were nice. They were really nice. And suddenly, like, another friend of them came and they were all talking. And then all of them, they went to the bathroom, but like this, and then we just stayed with one of the guys. I don't even know, and we were talking, and we were like, "Oh, everybody's gone." That's so
like all at once when this one guy comes, like
yeah. And then we actually, because we had like these experiences before, we were like, okay, this one guy came there in the toilet, in the restroom, like we kind of knew what was happening, and then they came back and they were like,
they were different.
Really happy. They were somehow really happy.
And once again, we have to leave.
We have to leave, exactly. Because we knew that was the thing. And then the other guy that was next to us said something. I don't remember. And that's why we were like, okay, it's like official. They are partying.
Partying. Yeah, and
yes,
we have so many stories of this. I think one last, because it makes no sense.
Yeah,
only
those are too many. But
this is not... we just want to give you like real examples that they're...
Exactly.
Like we... Not only in theory, we've seen this.
We've seen this, like, right next to us, yeah.
Yes, and one day we were at this house party.
Yeah.
And yeah, there it was on the table, everything.
Yeah,
and we were like... But also, I think, not in the beginning, it was more like the end.
The end, exactly.
When it got like a little less people.
Yeah.
And then it was on the tables, and we were like, we have to leave.
We have to leave, like, oh.
And we left.
Yes, exactly. So it's... so normal, and I obviously can imagine that for people that live there and it's like completely normal, but for us this is not normal. Exactly.
I'm terrified.
Exactly. And this is just it shouldn't be normal. It shouldn't be like seen as something, oh yeah, normal. No, it is not. So definitely this is a dark side, and something that you obviously have to be aware if you're like in a big city in general. The next topic is about rich men. I wanted to say rich people, but no. The problem are rich men.
Men are definitely
exactly. Money in New York is just... There are no limits in New York. It's...
Yeah. 1 in 24 is a millionaire.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those not 1 in 24... don't really have money. So it's
exactly.
a really big division.
A lot of rich people, but also a lot of people that are struggling. And these rich people, these rich men, they literally think... Old men. They think they can buy everything with money. They think everybody has a price. Everything has a price. And it's that scary because they behave like they rule the world. And somehow they do.
Yes, yeah, that's the sad thing about this. We didn't really interact with these kind of people, but we've seen this in bars, and people, this kind of man tried to approach us, but of course we like immediately said no, because...
Yeah, but like...
No, yeah. But you could see that these older, not even insanely older,
yeah.
really wealthy men with this like evil aura,
right,
who come up to girls like us, 20-year-old, well, in our 20s, like not even near 30, under 25, like early 20s. They come up to us and they're like 5'5", 60 years old, look like they've been killed before.
Literally.
And they come to us thinking
they have a chance because they
have
buy
money.
Us.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like this mentality, I have money and I know I can buy you. Like, tell me a price and you're mine. Literally, that's the way they think. And this older man, how you say it? Sorry. this evil aura. Like, they come to you and they look at you with like, I have money and I can do whatever the fuck I want. And when we were like, no, we don't want to, like,
they were like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Like, come on, what do you want? Blah, blah, blah. I will take you to, I don't even know.
Men treat you like, it also depends where you are. And I'm talking about this older men. The normal age, they're not like that, of course. No. But these old, gross men come up to you as if you were an escort.
Like you were an object. Like, literally, I can buy you. Yeah, and this is like this escort and mistress thing in New York. It's a big thing. Like, escorts, they're everywhere. Like, everybody, if you look good in New York, most of the people think that you're an escort. And that's kind of a problem, too. But, yeah, there were like this situation. We had this experience. We went to a bar. And it was this random bar in the Upper East Side. We just wanted to have like an Upper East Side night out, and we find this bar like on the maps. It looked really nice because it's a really beautiful place. And well, no, I don't think it's that beautiful. Anyways,
the most evil aura I've ever seen.
Right.
In one place.
Yes.
All together.
We went there, and when we opened the door to enter the bar, we were like, oh yeah, girls' night, yay, let's have a beautiful, good girls' night. We opened the door of the bar, we entered, and the only thing I could see were like white heads. Grandpas, literally. And I was like, oh.
Like in suits.
In suits.
Like, you could see those Upper East Siders.
Exactly.
Who probably have a wife at home.
Yeah, this family fathers that are like
grandpas, I think.
Grandpas, literally, that are having like affairs and, you know.
Yeah, and the funny
escapades.
thing is, it was like we arrived when we moved to New York on a Monday, and it was on a Friday. So I think 5 Mondays.
Literally, yeah.
It was like we didn't even know what we were getting ourselves into.
Exactly.
And then there was this couple, this younger couple. I really liked them.
I really like them too.
Who there wasn't. We had a table and there were no other places.
We were like sitting on the corner.
Yeah, and we're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, sure, you can come.
You can join us.
It was really packed. The place was packed with all these older men and also some young, beautiful girls we saw. So we were like, really, what is this? This is really weird.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, this is maybe like, does a firm have like a meeting with the CEOs or bosses? I was, there's like something, an event probably, because how is it possible that all these older men are like in one place together with young girls? I don't know. That was really weird. So anyways, we sat down, this couple came and to us, we start talking. They were really nice.
Yeah, and this couple was only there because the bar they wanted to go to was too long of a line, you know? They didn't want to go to the bar.
Yeah. And so but after like 15 minutes, the girl like asked us, so you two beautiful young girls, what are you doing here in this bar exactly? Like, and
we were like, oh,
we I don't know, we looked at the maps, we were normal. And then she said like, oh yeah, because this is normally the place where the rich older men bring their mistresses.
And we were there like,
we were dressed up nicely. We were looking beautiful.
We were looking too beautiful.
Too beautiful and too young. And we were like, oh, what?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? But yeah, and suddenly everything made like sense, and we were like, we have to leave again. But this place, it's like you saw these young girls. Well, not as young as us, because no, of course not. But young woman with this older man, and then suddenly I saw everything different. I saw the place like a
completely
whorehouse or something.
Yeah. Same. No, completely different, and it's also like decorated like with. It looks
it's not,
I never want to go near that place again,
neither.
And it's a famous place.
It's a famous place, but it's like how you again this evil aura, this like somehow dark aura. It's so weird with this old man there with so much money and these young girls and crazy things happening there.
Yes,
it's just a place. When you enter that place, it feels so weird and. It's just, it has something, you know.
Yeah, generally, I think we met people even younger. I don't know, this sometimes they told it as a joke, sometimes I don't think it was a joke. But we would tell, yeah, so where do you live? We would tell, yeah, we live in that area. But like, yeah, we want to move downtown to Tribeca, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you need a sugar daddy for that. And at the beginning, I was still laughing. Then at one point, I wasn't laughing anymore.
Because
they mean it.
They mean it.
As if the only way to do something was through a sugar daddy.
Exactly. And it's so usual in the city. They say to you, oh, you should only go after billionaires, you know?
This one girl, literally, we were talking and I liked her, like, oh, we were someone we met. She also had a boyfriend, but I think also other boyfriends. She had a few millionaire boyfriends, I think.
I don't know.
And she was like, oh no, but you two, you are so pretty. You should only go after billionaires. And I was like, wait, but you get me all wrong.
Exactly.
I'm not going after anyone. I'm not a gold digger.
Exactly.
I'm just here to have a drink.
Literally, I'm just here to have a drink. And she was
No, it's crazy because... But also, we will get into this a little bit later, but it's a crazy expensive city and...
No, everybody can afford.
No, and... Women are really sometimes put into position, like the easiest thing is just go after a rich man, but it's I don't know, luckily I cannot say this and I never want to be able to say this from my own experience. Of course my husband, if he's going to be rich, I know he's going to be rich, but not in a like
of course
sugar daddy type of way. I'm going to be rich, he's going to be rich, we're all going to be a happy family. This is out of the context.
Well, anyway.
But what I want to say is that there are women who go strictly after rich men and rich men who go after young women who they know they have more power. We actually have an episode on this.
Yes.
You should definitely listen to that if you haven't before. It's our second podcast episode.
Yes.
Older men are not better men. And rich men...
This is pretty accurate to like this.
It's just not what it seems like.
It's not so. It
really
so
depends.
Not.
When
exactly
like the age thing, older like sugar daddy type of vibe, you don't want to have a sugar daddy. I don't know why it gets so romanticized in social media.
Daddy, but this is literally after New York. I definitely can say having a sugar daddy will
destroy you.
Definitely will destroy you because these men are crazy, and in general, this whole concept, you're selling yourself to an older man who just sees you as an object is something that mentally will destroy you and will drain you.
Better work 20 hours in a day and barely afford rent, because there will come a point where you will able to afford everything.
Exactly.
Trust the process, even if it gets hard. Don't don't look for your rescue in a man, because this is what many people do in New York, and this man, they wait for you. They know that. They know they're not stupid.
Because they know, I know you're young, I know you're struggling with money, you need me, and they will take advantage of you.
They think older men in New York, wealthy men, I'm sure not everybody, there's certainly also fathers who have families, they might, but they're not the ones at the mistress bar, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They think just because they have money in New York, I don't think this is only in New York, but this is a big thing in New York. This is what we can talk about. They think they can do anything. And it's horrible. And as a young woman, it's so frustrating seeing, like, how dare you even speak to me? Literally. You don't know if I have money, you don't know how...
You don't know anything about
none of your business to even look at me. Like,
no, totally.
And... I think that especially because it is one of the most expensive cities in the world. And the people who are in New York, they're there because they really want to be in New York. No one goes to New York just because,
it's a city.
No. The people, they really want to stay there. And sometimes it's tough. It's really expensive. The rent prices are up normal.
Insanely. Like,
up normal.
It's crazy. Like, you can live in a shoebox for I don't know how many thousands.
We lived in a shoebox for I don't know how many thousands.
Crazy. So women, sometimes they don't see any other escape, any other way to survive than to sell themselves, literally.
Yeah. And in general, of course, there's this one thing where women sell themselves, but also generally, many New Yorkers, like not the rich, just the normal people living in New York, they have 2 to 3 jobs.
Exactly.
They work the whole day and they just sleep in New York.
Exactly.
And for me, I always said this, as much as I want to live in New York, I would never want to live in New York if this is the price.
Of course, no, because you want to live in the city, you want to make experiences, go out, not just work.
Exactly.
Course,
but because everything is so expensive, it's like normal jobs, it's a waitress or it's a waiter, guy, it's hard.
It's hard,
You have to work really, really hard for like this normal type of jobs, normal living.
Yeah. So that's why, and it's draining, you know.
Takes a lot of energy.
Exactly. It's not only for women, no, we're talking about in general. Exactly. It's like you are destroyed somehow. And also it's such a big city, so many things happening, so many people. You feel overwhelmed. Some people move there alone by themselves and they don't have any friends. They don't have, people, family, anything. And when you're in such a big city, just by yourself, working so hard, so many crazy things, you get overwhelmed, and also you can feel like alone and maybe, I don't know, fall into depression, even though you're in such a beautiful city.
But I think especially because there's so many people around you, but you're still alone.
Exactly.
We got us. Not everybody has a you.
No, yeah.
And but even together, you can feel alone, like in this bubble, but still alone. There were times where we were like, okay, but we don't really have friends.
Exactly. Here. And I think we also noticed that people are really fake.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy making friends.
It's not easy making friends. I mean, all over the world in general, but in New York especially, people, they're busy. They're doing things. They don't have time for you. They don't have time to build like good friendships, relationships. And it's difficult to find real, like, good friends in New York.
Yeah, of course, you will find them at some point.
Of course, but it's not...
We have also a few, but only a few friends.
Like,
but this is totally okay, but it's not like we've been there for 10 years.
Exactly,
We will we'll get there.
Exactly, but for some people, it's just difficult to make friends. And this is such an important thing in life,
Oh, definitely.
Why are you in New York if you don't have friends and if you cannot enjoy the time and you are in your shoebox? So this is also a side that really like a hard side for many people. You're
always on your own. In New York, there's so much going around you, but everybody's on his own there. And we even talked to our friend, to the barkeeper, to our friend. He also said New Yorkers are not nice, but they will help you if you need it. But not in a nice way, but they will help you. So this is, not the dark side. This is something good. But there's a lot of good stuff. But of course, we're talking about the bad stuff here.
No, that's true. But,
And also, we cannot forget we were talking about America, guns, crime.
This is something, this is scary. You never know. I think almost everybody has like a gun at home. Like, what the fuck? How can you... What a gun?
Yeah, this is, of course, a general US thing. This is not only a New York thing, but in New York, as much as we love it, there is crime going on. I never really felt in danger.
Me neither.
But this is because I don't know if this is true. So generally every big city has its crimes. This is normal.
Yes,
No, this is not normal, but it's normal in big cities. It's just something that happens. Of course, it really depends where you are. There's the 5 boroughs. If you're in the Bronx, it's more likely to get shot than...
literally.
It just you have to be careful where you go.
Course,
like, don't go to the Bronx. Don't go to certain neighborhoods. Exactly, or if you're from there, if you grew up there, I'm sure you're fine. But as an outsider,
totally,
probably best not to go there.
And also, I think it's like the metros. They're getting so dangerous in New York. So dangerous. Like a woman, she got like burned in a metro one day in the news, and that's crazy. So as a woman, or in general, just try not to use metros after like 8 p.m. Like, this is just a thing. It gets really dangerous. crazy people down there, homeless people,
Yeah,
so it's really dangerous, this thing. And we unfortunately we took the metro
every
every day, like also by night, and this was
not every day at night,
not every day,
but
exactly,
sometimes,
but sometimes, of course. And you don't want to pay an Uber, and then you use the metro, and it's just
pay the Uber, you know?
Pay the Uber, because it's scary.
Pay the Uber.
We were scared in some situations, so it's just not nice, Also, man, they're staring at you. This is just not okay.
No,
so,
the subway it's a whole underground world. I always
the subway
say this.
is another New York under the ground, yeah.
And of course, during the day, it's totally fine. You see all types of people. This is New York also. This is
Yes.
so normal. And in a way, I like the subway. In a way.
Me too. Like, throughout the day.
Throughout the day, it's like fun. No, not fun. it's
no,
practical.
I like it. It's practical.
The traffic, it's like the easiest way to get around.
You
for
can,
sure.
Of course, yeah.
But at night, just take the Uber. Especially as a woman.
Because
take the Uber, take the taxi, like the Carrie Bradshaw style. That's how we did it. Taxi.
Yeah, guys.
It's not that expensive.
Taxis are
and
cheaper
it's worth
than
it.
Ubers. Yeah.
Your life is worth those few dollars.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Just take the taxi. Because.
Yes.
Yeah. No. And if you're alone in the metro, even together you're scared.
Even
but alone,
do
that.
No, don't do that. Definitely not. So all in all, I think we can say that New York City is a big city where crazy people are, crazy things happening, this drug thing, this escort, I don't even know. And this is something you cannot avoid. So if you're there, you have to be insanely careful, you have to open your eyes, don't be naive. Like, bad things can really happen. So it's just, and this is like something that, as I said at the beginning, not everybody talks about it. New York, it's not just, Empire State Building and, I don't know. No, New York, it's a completely universe there.
Yeah,
literally.
for sure. It's a world in itself.
A world in itself. And it's just not like, like you see it on Pinterest, all this beautiful. There are like sick things happening there.
Yeah,
so.
it's also Pinterest, but also not only Pinterest.
It's like a mix of Pinterest and the dark side.
Yes, no, of course.
Yeah, but
as long as you're careful and all of that, we also were very naive, and you have no other choice. Even if you don't want to open your eyes, New York will open your eyes. Like, there's no choice but to open your eyes.
Exactly.
And we got our eyes open, we knew, we learned things, and now everything's fine.
Exactly.
You don't have to go in the dangerous places. Of course, danger is everywhere in a way.
Everywhere, yeah.
But
sometimes you cannot avoid it, but you can obviously know what to do. You can obviously choose the right choice.
Yes, definitely. Of course, you can avoid things at a certain point.
Exactly.
Sure. It really depends, but nevertheless, New York is the love of my life.
Me too, yeah.
I know we only talked about bad things now, but I could talk, I think, 20 hours about the good stuff.
Yeah, of course.
It's my favorite place on earth.
It's still a beautiful place, and it's like the goal to live there, for sure. Yes.
As long as you are, like you said, just aware of this dark side, you'll be fine. Just know that. Don't be really naive, because when I arrived in New York, I didn't see any bad side.
Me neither.
But I learned after 5 days, I think.
Literally after 5 days.
But it is exactly the way it's supposed to be, because you have to learn, otherwise it's dangerous.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, well, I think we arrived at the end of this podcast.
Dangerous,
Dangerous. Well, this is the end, everybody. No, but I think you all got us the right way, I hope. So, thank you so much for listening or watching. Next week, new episode. So, see you next time.
See you. Bye-bye.